This is Marvel Unwrapped, where we explore Marvel's greatest topics. I am Cole Brunson, and then my co-host.
I am Logan Burns.
Thank you. And today's episode, we'll be discussing and ranking the top 5 MCU movies.
In our opinion.
We have another member in our podcast, Aiden Leroy, but sadly he could not make it today. But Logan, you can go first on your list.
Okay, so let's just get right into it. For number 5, I picked Doctor Strange. Now, it's a little bit of a more obscure MCU movie. It goes into more of the mystic realm than more like the grounded stuff that the Avengers get into. Yeah. But I just love the aspects of him trying anything he can to fix his hands, that he goes to China and gets involved in like this mystical stuff and becomes the Sorcerer Supreme. And like, I love the Doctor elements of it. I just love everything. The reason I put it at number 5, not higher, is just because I thought the villain was really weak. Like, I can't even remember his name. Was it?
Caecilius, I think.
Yeah.
It did seem like he was mainly relying on Dormammu,
the
big great guy, towards the end. But it seemed like he was mainly relying on him and didn't really seem to take matters into his own hands.
Yeah, they could have explored Dormammu a little bit more than they did. And Caecilius, it was just really weak for me. Definitely one of the lower.
But definitely, yeah, this movie will definitely open up way more things for Phase 4 and future Marvel movies. Especially Dormammu. They better bring Dormammu back, because that's not going to be good if they don't.
I see they're definitely going to go into more mystical and space stuff, it feels like, for like Phase 4 and 5 and so on. Like, they're going more into that. Because they've already explored a lot of grounded Earth stuff. Like, they should go on to more movies, like with the Eternals and Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
Definitely. Yeah. All right. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm waiting for too.
I think my favorite scene in Doctor Strange is the when he gets the cape. I love that scene.
I know. He's like trying to go one way and fight Caecilius, and he's trying to lead him away.
Yeah. So I would rank it like 9 out of 10. Very good movies. Just Caecilius was really weak for me. Okay. Number 4 on my list is Captain America: Civil War.
Ooh, that's a good one.
This was a really special movie for me because I got into Marvel and like this whole stuff through Spider-Man. And so when I found out they were putting Spider-Man into this Marvel movie, my heart just like shot up. Like I love this movie so much. Not just because Spider-Man, it really dives into those characters that you love and care about and shows their conflict, which is heartbreaking yet awesome at the same time.
Yeah. And like one thing I'd like to say about it was an amazing movie, especially the airport scene. That's like one of the best scenes in the whole MCU. It was just so funny and so cool. But one thing, don't get me wrong, I absolutely love this movie. But one thing I do not like about it as much is before everyone hyped it up, saying that like there would be Crossbones and Spider-Man, and saying that they'd have like all the Avengers in it. But they only had them in for like a few scenes, maybe. Like they like really hyped up all the characters. I wish I would have seen more of them, which we already have in future MCU movies. Yeah. But yeah, I still love the movie. Do not get me wrong on that.
That's actually really, really interesting that you think that, because you notice how they only had Spider-Man about 15 minutes of the movie and stuff.
Yeah.
That's because when they were making this movie, they were still trying to get the licensing for Spider-Man from Sony. Like they couldn't. It wasn't a for sure thing. So they were going to introduce Spider-Man. That was going to be the big thing. But they introduced Black Panther in case they couldn't get Spider-Man. And so when they found out they could get him, they had to like give him a little bit of both.
Yeah, like kind of trim it down a bit.
Yeah. But I do agree with Crossbones. They wasted him a lot.
Yeah, because like honestly, Brock Rumlow, he is just like a really cool character by himself. But especially when he turned into Crossbones, because in the comics, in the Civil War series, he is the one who kills Captain America. Sorry for the spoilers. But in the Civil War comics, Crossbones does snipe Captain America down after he surrenders himself.
It's a very interesting character, and I do see what he did have a big impact with his final scenes. Like, spoiler alert for Civil War, but when he blew himself up, and it was Scarlet Witch's fault. He did have a big impact on the MCU. It's just they could have done more with his actual character.
Like the explosive scene, they could have added that later on, but they like could have. since like they said that they've been trying to track him down for multiple weeks and months, I think they could have elaborated more on those scenes instead of just discussing it.
Yeah. But I do like one of my favorite scenes in the entire MCU is that final battle of Captain America and Iron Man just ripping into each other. Loki lying on the ground like half dead. Like and just like Zemo commentating that why he did all this. It's just a beautiful scene.
I know, like Baron Zemo, he was the complete mastermind of it. Like without him, Infinity War, they would have been able to defeat Thanos so much easily, but they were all separated, and Baron Zemo, he just got to set up perfectly.
He definitely had probably the biggest impact on the MCU, I would say.
Definitely.
But I'm glad they're reusing him for Captain America and the Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, they're bringing him back when I saw his face on the trailer, I went nuts.
Oh, totally. Yeah. They gave him a great backstory with his family, and he had good character reasoning, and just great movie. I loved everything about that movie.
And the actor, he's like so perfect for it too. He just, I don't know. That movie is just so beautiful, and it's like sad knowing that Captain America, like, did keep that from Tony. But like one theory that I heard was because in Avengers: Age of Ultron, Captain America could budge Mjolnir, but he couldn't fully lift it up. There's a theory going around because you have to be completely worthy that he was keeping the secret from Tony, and that made him unworthy. But after he admitted that, he could lift it up in Endgame. So people are thinking that is a theory on why he couldn't lift it.
I like that. I like that theory. It's really good. Yeah. But just this movie, it was amazing. Such a 10 out of 10, my opinion. Definitely. And that's my fourth. So like these next ones are really high in my opinion.
Yeah.
But moving on to number 3, I have Spider-Man: Far From Home. That one, it's so amazing. One of the
I don't think there was like any part that I wasn't smiling or laughing in it, because
totally.
The scenes, they were so funny, and they'd still stick in my mind while I was in the theater and while I'm at home watching it.
Just everything about this movie, the character development through Peter, showing what his life was without Tony. In my opinion, one of the greatest MCU villains, Mysterio. Jake Gyllenhaal had an amazing performance. So with Tom Holland and Zendaya, they all did amazing. I love that scene where just Mysterio ripping into Peter, like throwing all these illusions at him and ending with Peter getting hit by a train. Like,
yeah, that CGI, it was just so perfect. Like, it looks so real.
There was a cartoon I used to watch called Spectacular Spider-Man when I was littler, and there was a scene just like that with Mysterio in it, but in real life. Like, it's like it was that exact scene, but in real life in this movie, and it was amazing.
Oh, jeez, it's just because there's like so many things. Like, people could have said, yeah, he just like created the CGI. People just created multiple things he could do, but they had like, I don't know, at least 10 different shots, and every single shot was spot on. There was nothing wrong with it, and it looks so real. Like, people could say, yeah, he could bring up any 10 scenes, but not those 10 scenes. Those 10 scenes are like, I don't know, they're just so different from anything else. That's why it makes it a great movie and a great villain.
Yeah, and that one part with Spider-Man just closing his eyes and letting his spider sense, or Peter tingle, just take the whole thing. Like, oh my gosh. Tingle. It's Peter tingle.
Crazy.
And in my opinion, one of the best post-credit scenes in the MCU was when J. Jonah Jameson revealed Spider-Man's identity.
Yeah, and they used the same actor as the one in the Tobey Maguire films.
Oh, my like little fanboy heart, like, ooh, like when I saw him on there. And he's like bald now, so that's kind of weird. But like, yeah, but such a great movie. 10 out of 10.
Most definitely. And like, definitely when they talked about the end scene, and then we learned that they weren't going to be a part of Sony anymore, that just like confused me. Like, that's gonna suck if they don't even like release like a tiny like clip even of just what would have happened after.
Yeah, but at least he's back now, so
yeah,
that was a bad month when Spider-Man wasn't in the MCU. But moving on to number 2, these two, you could switch them around, in my opinion. It's just, this is what I thought of. Number 2, I have Avengers Endgame.
Definitely.
Where to start on this movie, man? 10 years.
On the 3 whole hours.
20 movies, 10 years, and it all built up to this. It was... I cried like 3 times during this movie.
I know, because there's so many scenes. Because, like, even at the beginning, when, like, no one has died or anything, like, still, it's just sad because the friends didn't just go away or are trapped in a prison. They actually were wiped off the universe.
Died.
They literally died. And people are, like, all heartbroken. They literally lost, like, half their friends. Well, for Natasha Romanoff as Black Widow, she lost her family.
She had no one.
And that's literally her family, and she just lost them right away in just 1 second. Didn't even have a chance to say goodbye.
Yeah. It's just that those whole scenes are just so amazing. That final battle, though. Let's talk about that.
Jeez. Where to even start? Jeez.
Captain America lifting Mjolnir.
When I was in the theater,
Avengers Assemble.
Crazy. I mean, like, that final fight scene, everyone in the theater, like, there was at least, I don't know, maybe 50 people standing up when he, like, lifted Mjolnir. Multiple...
There were people screaming in my theater, like, just like, whoa!
And, when Captain America said, Avengers Assemble, I honestly didn't know if the people were screaming on the scene or the people in the audience, because it was both, and I couldn't tell the difference.
For me, I was too late taking my tickets, so I had to see it 5 days after it premiered. So the sad thing for me was I was spoiled on Iron Man's death. I accidentally got on YouTube and I saw that. So one of the big regrets of my life.
Those tickets go out fast, though. There's
Oh yeah. But Iron Man, his sacrifice with his daughter, and just
the I Love You 3000.
Let's get that Tony's daughter. What an amazing child actor too. Like,
I know. Yeah.
She did good.
Yeah, I'm honestly gonna look up how old she is.
Yeah, she was like, I think like 7 when they made that, which is just crazy.
I know, and she's so young and such a good actor.
When I was 7, I was playing Minecraft. But
yeah, she is 7 years old.
But in that, when Steve went back in time and spent the rest of his life with Peggy and gave the shield to Falcon, there's just so much amazing in this movie. If I did have one criticism about this movie, it was almost too much, I still love this movie with my whole heart, but there was so much in it. I got really overwhelmed.
Yeah, but there's if I could change one thing about it, and this is the only thing that makes me mad about the movie, Captain Marvel flying through the sanctuary. Jeez. I was like, how can she fly through the whole ship and, like, destroy all of it? But then when it's Thanos, all you're doing is holding a glove. Just fly through him.
Yeah, like,
That's the only criticism I have for the movie, but...
Yeah. I think they overpower her when they don't really know what to do. But, 11 out of 10.
Yeah, it's just over-the-top greatness.
Before I get to my number 1, I have some honorable mentions. For number 1, starting off, I have Black Panther.
There we go.
Such an amazing movie. There's, like, one of the greatest MCU villains. Yeah. Great story.
The actor of the Michael B. Jordan, he's a great actor. He does Creed. He does a bunch of big things. But then he did Black Panther. Well, the villain of Black Panther, Killmonger, and
Chadwick Boseman. They just all did so amazing in that movie.
Yeah, the acting was so great. And like the another thing, how I discussed the Mysterio, how people say, "Oh, it's just CGI," but there's thought that goes behind it. All these like traditions that they do, and all the things, and what it should look like.
Awesome.
That's just you have to have like an extreme Marvel created mind to comprehend all these things and put it into one film.
They had so much African representation. It was just such an amazing movie. Like, 10 out of 10. So good.
Yeah. And it was
my
like
next honorable mention. Oh,
and it was like
sorry.
no, sorry. It was like one of the first like movies like ever that had almost a full African American cast.
Yeah.
And I'm glad
it's awesome.
Disney and Marvel got to do both of that.
Yeah, I'm glad they took that step. Like, great movie. But moving on to my next one, Avengers: Infinity War. Oh, where to start with that one, man? Yeah. Like, such an amazing movie.
Because it's like
Endgame.
Yeah, but it has like more content of each character. Because like literally, honestly, it's wonderful because that's where it brings like literally every single character into it. Well, except Captain Marvel, but she was only introduced in that movie. But besides that, every single character and like that's still alive and like all the other movies is joined into that movie, and it just makes it so wonderful.
This one definitely has one of the saddest endings in MCU. Like, when Peter's "I don't want to go."
Yeah, that
and
I don't want to go, Mr. Stark.
Yeah, that was devastating for me.
Yeah,
and then we had to wait a whole year without anything else.
Yeah,
like
like my favorite MCU character is the White Wolf or the Winter Soldier, Bucky Barnes. He goes by multiple names.
Yeah,
he is my favorite character. But honestly, Peter Parker did have the saddest death.
Yeah, and that was such an amazing movie. I mean, just Thanos overpowering every Avenger at that end, trying to get the last stone, is devastating. Like, because you see these movies, what the Avengers always win. It's like they push Ultron, Loki, without even like flinching almost, and then this one man comes, and he just murders all of them basically. And like, it's hard. It's 10 out of 10 movie. Great.
Yeah,
I'm saying that for like all of them, but
because like the ending of this, like the ending of Infinity War and Endgame. Sorry, I'm bringing it back to Endgame, but I just have to mention this. They're so different, but they make sense at the same time because Infinity War, it has to have a sad death in order to start it up, because
to have that happy ending at the end.
Like literally the two movies combined are like 5.5 hours or something. They're so long that it made it they like timed the ending perfectly right where to end it off, because like Infinity War, it left every single character broken and like literally a failure because they all failed. But then in Endgame, they ended it so perfectly because like
they all finally had a victory.
Yeah, because like even since like so many characters, their their contract ended, but like Iron Man, that's kind of what he was, because in Avengers, he Captain America was just asking him, "What are you without the suit?" And he goes like millionaire, playboy, and stuff like that. He's just mentioning stuff that evolves around his money and his smarts. But then he finally understood how to not be selfish, and he finally got the ending that his like morally character deserved.
And you can say the same for Captain America, because when those two characters are arguing, Tony Stark mentions something, everything special from you came out of a bottle. But when he lifts Mjolnir, he is the pure human being. Yeah. He is the all-around American hero. And it's just, his ending was so beautiful. I loved it so much. I cried.
Yeah, like the whole time, it's like, I don't know if all of you listeners are Office fans, but it's so beautiful that it's because like the ending of The Office, it's so beautiful. Like they ended it, literally everyone. Okay, I'm not gonna get into The Office. I'm just gonna say that it ended.
Yeah, let's go off topic.
But then like Avengers Endgame, no sad endings at all. Everyone got what they wanted. Captain America, throughout the whole movie, like Avengers Age of Ultron, like when Scarlet Witch went into his mind. He was dreaming that he was with Peggy, and that was like what was like most sad to him and hurt him the most, because he couldn't have her anymore. He couldn't hold him, couldn't have her in his arms anymore. But then at the end, he finally got his way to be with her and get that dance that was mentioned in the first Avengers. Yeah. So it's just so beautiful that it's sad.
Yeah. And now, finally, for my favorite MCU movie, I just have to pick Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
It's literally one of the best action, not just MCU movies, action movies of all time. By just the story of these two best friends, just them turning on each other like that, but one of them turning and the other one not giving up on him. It's such a beautifully sad story.
Because like he knows he's a good person inside, but just he's being brainwashed. And he literally does anything he can. Even when he's about to die, he literally says he won't fight back because he's with him till the end of the line. And that's literally what true friendship looks like.
It's like Bucky is so broken and so hurt. He's been brainwashed, has memory wiped, who knows how many times since like the 40s. And yet he still remembered his best friend at the end. It's just amazing. Like, and I love the pairing of Black Widow and Captain America. These were two characters that definitely were good together.
And it was so funny, the interaction too.
Yeah. I like the whole like spy element to it almost. Like a spy cover-up movie. I loved the introduction of Falcon. Yeah. There were hints at
they set
like
him
Doctor
up
Strange. Oh yeah. The way they met on your left was it's hilarious.
That's made so many stuff. And like what's it called? He literally that's how you knew people were coming back in Endgame was he said Rogers
on your left. Yeah. But it's just this one's an 11 out of 10, you know?
Yeah.
I could watch this movie every day and I would never get tired of it. Like it's just
so many quotes that like you can use in everyday life too.
Yeah.
There's so many true things that are said with it.
Oh yeah. My favorite scene though is that like the fight in the middle of the movie when Bucky has that knife and Cap has a shield and they're just going so fast. Like with the fight, it's just awesome. 12 out of 10. 12 out of 10.
Beautiful. It's like so well put too.
So once again, my list is number 5, Doctor Strange. Number 4, Civil War. Number 3, Spider-Man: Far From Home. Number 2, Avengers: Endgame. Number 1, Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
All right, so my list.
Now let's go to your list.
Yeah, some of yours. Well, actually, a lot of yours were actually mentioned in mine. Don't worry. I think. Yeah, I have one that wasn't mentioned. But yeah, coming in number 5, Avengers: Infinity War. It's funny, brings like almost all the characters in. It's beautiful, sad, makes a perfect MCU movie. And then number 4, Captain America: Winter Soldier. That's the main movie that like got me into Marvel and that got me into liking Bucky Barnes because it's like it's so like how you said it's so like
beautifully tragic,
sad and happy at the same time. Seeing that he found his best friend that he lost, like literally the things that he wants, like when he comes back from the ice, are Bucky and Peggy, and he gets both at the end. But just he finds one, but it's just tormented because he's been brainwashed and he's been abused and tortured.
Oh, I forgot about
he
Peggy.
Just literally does
she was in that movie.
And there's so much action in it too that it just makes it so cool too.
Also with Peggy, that was really sad. She has dementia, I think it was, but she just didn't remember. And it's just so like the 2 things he wanted, he did get them, but they were like so different. Like they could almost not be what he like. Bucky is a villain, like a brainwash, like villain, and then Peggy is just an old woman who can't remember anything.
Yeah,
it's just really sad, but yeah.
But it all ends up in the end.
It all ends up
good. Yeah. All right, coming in hot, number 3, Avengers: Endgame. So much we can discuss. But, yeah. All right, I think we should make this a whole episode, just break down Avengers: Endgame.
We should.
All right. So that's going up on the list. All right. Number 2, Spider-Man: Far From Home. It has great action, great acting, great characters, and it's from like teenagers' perspective, so it's like more relatable to kids like us and older. And it's just so funny to see trying to get the girl that he likes, and like the weird interactions between them. That's funny. And
him and that what's that? The new kid. I don't remember his name, but like he takes a picture of him because he thought he was dating.
And then Peter Parker tries to blow up the whole bus just trying to get it off. Wait, no,
trying to get it off that guy's phone.
Yeah. But
yeah.
But one thing that I think they will set up for later is I don't know if everyone noticed this, but Flash, the kid who's a kind of a jerk to Peter Parker, he's like saying that like he's like missing his mom because like as he's going through the texts on the bus to try to delete that photo, if you read it quickly, there's like a text that says, "Mom, when will you come home? We've been missing you." And then later on at the end when they're being picked up at the airport, he's being picked up by his like butler or something, and he goes like, "Oh, Mom couldn't make it." So it's kind of sad, and I think they might set it up for future movies.
I didn't notice that.
That would be good. Watched it like enough times, and I literally own the movie, so I've watched it quite a bit. But there's just tiny things that you can always see in Marvel movies.
In the comic books, Flash Thompson does become a superhero, Agent Venom. He gets the Venom symbiote, and like he's an army soldier, so they could be setting that up too, like an Agent Venom movie, which I would watch.
Yeah. And it's like because in the comics he was a soldier, but then he got paralyzed in battle, and then the symbiote helped him walk again, and then he wanted it a lot, but he wanted it to use it for good, so he created Agent Venom, which was a character who worked for S.H.I.E.L.D. and turned out to be a pretty good hero.
He went from being a bully to a hero, which I really like. He's a good story.
Yeah. All right. I already
Your number 1. Wait, do you have honorable mentions?
Yes, I do. All right. And I only have them for specific reasons. All right. So first of all, the first one is what's it called? Oh yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy 1. Honestly, all the movies that have the Guardians of the Galaxy in it, I just love the soundtrack that they're doing. They're bringing in retro songs and
those 80s, like that 80s
hit one. So like people way before our time, people like our parents and stuff, they know the songs and they like literally fell in love with the songs when they were kids, and now they're hearing them on a screen with their favorite characters. It's so amazing how they do it.
Yeah.
And then kind of the same thing for Black Panther. That's another honorable mention. Like I said before, the setting and like all the mind stuff that went into it, that was just beautiful. But the soundtrack on that, like Kendrick Lamar, he literally got an award. I forgot what the name of it was, but he got an award that's usually meant for poets, but he actually got it because rapping is a type of poetry.
Yeah.
And he got that. And then he was quickly named that he would do the soundtrack for Black Panther. And the songs were beautiful and they're so cool.
Yeah.
And it really set the mood for like where he was and stuff.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Yeah. And then Spider-Man Homecoming, another honorable mention. I like it with kind of how Far From Home. It's like funny because it has like teenage stuff that kids nowadays can kind of relate to. And
Michael Keaton's Vulture.
Yeah, and it kind of shows him from like him being from what's it called, like just a normal like neighborhood watch character into like actually turning into like an actual hero who literally tried to steal like Avengers jet that literally had like it had some Iron Man suits in it, and someone was trying to break into that. He stopped the whole thing, got him caught, and was injured in the rest, but he didn't just give up then. He knew he had to keep continuing. And it kind of shows his path from just being like from a teenager into an actual hero.
Oh, totally. I remember that movie. That's one of the I like I said, Spider-Man's the hero that got me into all this. So just watching him in that setting with like the 60s theme song playing for the soundtrack and like I just love that so much. It really brings like happiness to me, you know.
Yeah. All right, and then number 1 favorite MCU movie, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Like I said before, soundtrack is beautiful. My chest hurt so much from laughing when I got out of the theater. Yeah. I was just nonstop laughing throughout the whole thing. It's just so funny. It's definitely one of the most like non-appropriate comedy ones out of the MCU. But if you are allowed to watch it, definitely watch it. You'll laugh your heart out. It was so funny. And it's like not even the father-son comedy, aspect too. The action and the story, because like Peter Quill, he watched his mother die, but then and that's like heartbreaking for him. And you can tell throughout like the whole, like every time you've seen him, he's heartbroken because he doesn't know who his father is. But then on this one, he meets his dad, but just he thinks he's what he's supposed to be, but turns out the dad only wanted him just so he could, manipulate him and literally control the whole world. And after learning that he killed his mother that he loved, that's just horrible.
Yeah.
And then literally at the end, spoilers ahead. I mean, this whole podcast is probably gonna have spoilers, but
they've seen it if they're listening,
Yeah. But it's just so sad at the end because when Yondu picks him up and says, "He may have been your father, boy, but he wasn't your daddy," and that's just so true. Like even with this does not happen to me or anyone I know of, but there are people out there who have a dad, but that dad does not treat them right. But they go out, soccer team or a teacher or anything, but they see father figures, and yes, the fathers are their biological father, but they just don't show the actual character that they need to. And this movie, I think, really elaborated me and hopefully others, showing that this is kind of what other people's parents can actually be like. That's not just in a superhero movie. It's actually in real life, too.
That's why I love MCU movies. They can just, they're fictional, but, the characters in it, they feel real, and they have real problems, like us. And it's Tony Stark's addiction, and just... It's also amazing. I love the whole franchise.
Because it's not just futuristic. It's people in futuristic worlds. Well, not futuristic, but just supernatural worlds, I guess, that also have the same problems as us. They're not just, oh, aliens are coming, we need to stop them. I need to go into a deep anxiety because they're coming. No, that's basically the main problem, but every single character has something on the side that they've always desired.
Yeah, Iron Man 3 is all about Tony Stark's anxiety, his PTSD from what he experienced.
Yeah, and he's so shell-shocked from Infinity War. I mean, whoa, oh no.
Yeah.
Avengers.
Oh, yeah.
Which actually does lead up into Infinity War, though, because he said he was coming. Because he does mention it, Age of Ultron.
Even his vision in Age of Ultron was all of his friends dying. And in Infinity War, that's what happened for him. It's so, everyone's dream, vision did come true. Kind of,
Yeah, and, in Age of Ultron, when he was, because, when Scarlet Witch got into his mind and showed him what his true fears actually were, he wasn't just being a playboy and, he's going broke. No, he let down the Avengers, let down his friends.
And the aliens were coming back into the world.
Yeah, and he saw this happening. And that honestly was kind of like a trailer for Infinity War. It shows what happens at the end. But then he makes all of it right. He washes out Thanos and his whole army. And he gets to watch his, kind of son figure, I guess, the kid he mentored, finally be able to come back and live. And he he had a daughter, he had a wife, he had everything.
Gave it all up.
But he just knew what was right, and he gave all of that away just to save humanity.
Yeah.
Well, not just humanity, literally everything in the world.
Yeah. The whole galaxy.
Yeah. All right, so I guess that concludes our lists.
This was a great podcast,
I know, yeah. First episode. I enjoyed doing this, and there will most definitely be more episodes coming.
Yeah.
We already
make sure all you guys tell your friends.
But yeah. What?
Make sure you guys all tell your friends about this.
Yes, please. We want this to be spread. This is just a hobby for us, but we also want it to be kind of enjoyable for you guys. It's definitely enjoyable for us. We get to talk about what we love, but also to be enjoyable for you guys. We're kind of all quarantined inside, and if you guys are Marvel lovers or just are familiar with it, you can still listen to it. We discuss movies. We'll discuss topics that people have discussed before, but it's just basically our side of the movies.
Yeah, but make sure you visit our website, our Instagram, and our YouTube channel.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, all right. This finishes off our first podcast. And as Logan said, please check out our own site, Marvel Unwrapped Podcast. Whoa. Sorry. Please check out our own site, Marvel Unwrapped Podcast.GoDaddySites.com, where we have links to our Instagram, YouTube, and soon enough, hopefully, our own Spotify account. Thank you for listening. This has been the Marvel Unwrapped.
Mm-hmm.